Welcome to Rucifail. So, after dying at the end of last week's episode, I've spawned again on the coast. So, I'm up near Riffy from the looks of it. So I know where I am. I didn't spawn straight back in after dying. So it has been, I think it's the following day at this stage. But I thought what I'd do this time is I'd show you how I now try and get myself set up in game. So basically, melee weapon, so I've got that now, tire iron. And then I go looking for a knife of some sort and try and gather as much food as I can. So I know a lot of my viewers are more experienced at this game than I am. So, you know, if you see me doing something wrong or you think I should do something different, let me know in the comments. Please do. And if you are new to the game and new to the channel, maybe check out the comments too, because some of my regular viewers, like I said, they're a lot better at this game than I am. So there could be some really good tips down in the comments too. So if you are new as well, please consider subscribing to the channel. I do release videos every week at the moment, or most weeks. And they all are about DayZ and how I kind of fail at playing it. But anyway, hope you enjoy. As you can see, I've already got a chicken. And I found a screwdriver, which it turns out that you can actually gut and skin a chicken with it. So that's great. So with the bones from the chicken, I then use them to make a bone knife, which is really important as well. And easy to have. So now I can gut more chickens if I find them, and I've got the screwdriver as well. You can see my hands are bloody. You don't want to eat or consume any food or anything like that where your hands are bloody. So I also gather as much old clothing as I can and make rags as I go. So my aim is now to make some improvised hand wraps, which will then protect my hands and means that I can eat safely. With bloody hands, my hands are no longer bloody. So I'm basically looking for whatever I can. So I've got my melee weapon, I've got my knife now, and now it's like rags, as many rags as I can get together, while also improving my clothing and my insulation layers as I go. Yep, I've got enough for hand wraps now, so you can see I've got them on, so my hands are protected. I've also got enough rags now that I can make myself an improvised face wrapping, which will also help keep me warm. I'm not sure if it does anything else, if it helps me from catching a cold of other players or anything like that, but it does help keep me warm. So I've got a chicken, I've got hand wraps, I've got a face mask, my clothes are getting better. As you can see, I've now got some better jackets and such as well. So I'm going to try and make a fire to cook the chicken, because as you can see, my hunger is now in the red, and I don't want to leave it in the red for long. So I'd used the screwdriver previously to get some bark, that'll help me make a fire. I now get a long stick and I use the bone knife to sharpen it, because that'll give me something I can use to cook the chickens with. So I get another long stick, I then break it into shorter sticks, so I can make a fire. So same again, more short sticks, so I've got more fuel for the fire. Now I've got everything I need for the fire. I could go find a house, but I find that the smoke can attract other players. So I've decided to hide here under this tree, because the tree will actually capture the smoke from the fire and mean it's less obvious to other players that I'm kind of here. This is a low pop server, so there's not a lot of players around, but you still have to be careful. You could still easily have another player run up on you. So I used a short stick in the bark to make a hand drill kit, that's so I can light the fire. And then I use a rag and a stick to make a fireplace. So I actually just made the rags into smaller piles, combined them to make a fireplace. I add the short sticks that I got to the fire, so there's plenty of fuel for there. I then put a piece of chicken on the end of the sharpened stick, so I'm ready to go. Grab the improvised drill kit and start the fire. You do have to wait a while before you can actually roast any meat on a sharpened stick over a fire. Pretty soon you have to wait till you see the coals or the ash bed develop, and then you'll be able to see the prompt that allows you to roast. So I'm just going out to see how the smoke's going, and you can see the tree is capturing all the smoke. It's not going above the trees, so anyone kind of in the area won't actually see the smoke. It won't be as much of a beacon. You'd have to be pretty close to me to see it. So I've got an ash bed now. You can see the fire's kind of ready, and I'm just trying to get the prompt, and when the fire's ready it'll say roast there. So now you can roast. It does take a while to cook chicken or any food this way. And this one I actually stopped too early. You can see I've got the full ring, but I didn't actually let it start going on the second ring, so the chicken's still raw. So I try again, I sit down, and you see it takes like a split second, and all of a sudden it's done. Done. So you can see the colour of the chicken changed. It's ready to go. So I swap it over with another piece of raw chicken, and I cook that. So that's the second piece of chicken cooked. I don't really have a need to hang on to it for very long. I am hungry, so I really should just eat it. The best spot for food is in your stomach. There's no point being hungry or not having 100% food and carrying around a lot of food. As soon as you got food, eat it. It's just the best way to go. It doesn't take up room in your slots. And it does also mean that if you do get killed, you're not carrying a whole heap of food for the next survivor. So now I've got a bit of food, I go off and try and do a bit more looting and try and avoid the infected where I can. I'm still trying to gather as many rags as I can, because next I want to try and make some rope from the rags. So you have 2 piles of 6 rags each, and you combine them, and then you can actually make some rope. So as you can see, I combine the 2 piles of rags. I can then combine that with the sharpened stick and make a fishing rod. I try and avoid the infected as much as I can when it's still early stages of the game, but they do carry things. So as you saw, that one did have a pristine axe, which is pretty good to have. So I kill myself another chicken. I can make another bone knife, and with this chicken I can also use the bones to make some hooks. So I can then use the fishing rod with the hooks. I go back to my fire, which is burnt out, but I can add more sticks to that now as well, and more fuel to it, and start the fire again. I do need some more kindling or bark to get it started. You can use rags or bark, but I think I will also need another hand drill kit so I can actually start it as well. So I prepare and cook some more of the chicken. You can see my food level, my hunger level is a bit better, but I'm also still quite hungry. But I've got more chicken now as well. So this time with the bones, I make some fishing hooks, and that enables me to fish in the pond just beside me here to catch more fish. The advantage of fish is they are also very high in, I guess, calories, so they fill you up a lot, but they are also high in water, so they help hydrate you. And you can actually fill yourself up with fish. You can actually fill your water level up quite high with just eating fish, without the need for going to a fountain or anything like that. So the other thing you need to go with the hooks is some worms. So I was trying to go for them, and then I realized that my screwdriver was actually ruined. So you can actually use the fireplace to dispose of items too, instead of just leaving them lying around. You put them in that bottom part of the fireplace there, and they'll disappear. So I do need a knife or something so I can dig up some worms. I decide I am near the train tracks, and you can often get little stones or small stones spawn near the train tracks fairly often. So I decide to go looking for them. And again, low on food. Why am I carrying it around? Might as well just eat it. So usually if you just run back and forth across the train tracks a few times, run a couple of minutes in one direction, turn around, run a couple of minutes in the other direction, or if you've been hanging out near train tracks or trails for a while, small stones will spawn fairly quickly. So here's one just up here, you can see. I haven't been that far from the train tracks, so you can get a small stone. And if you have two small stones, you can combine them together to make a stone knife. Or as I'm doing, I'm going up to one of these larger rocks here, and it gives you an option to craft a stone knife by using the small stone against it. So with the small stone in hand, I now try and find some dirt, and I can dig up some worms. So you combine the worm with the hook to get an improvised bait, I think it's called. And as I've got two hooks, I decide to make two baits or two lures. So I can now add the baited hook to the fishing rod, and you can fish in basically any water. I think you can even fish in some of the little fountains in some of the towns, but this will work. Fishing in water inland in rivers and lakes and such as this, even though I'm right near the coast, you'll get carp. But if you fish along the beach, you'll get, I believe, cod. The cod's meant to be slightly better than the carp, I think, but carp is fine for me. I'm here, I've got a nice little kind of setup going. I'm quite well hidden. I've got my fireplace here now. I'm right near everything to run into town and get more supplies, kill more chickens, whatever else I need. So my aim is now to get as much carp and as much chicken as I can to increase my hydration levels and my hunger levels to get everything into the white before I try and move further inland at all. So it does take quite a bit of time to get everything prepared. It's not to get well prepared for the game. It's not a quick process. You know, I could have possibly tried to run straight inland, gone back to my base, anything like that. but I'm more likely to die along the way, and if I run into any players, I've got nothing. By slowing down and taking a little bit of time on the coast, you won't have great loot, but you can actually get your character in a great place with plenty of food. So I've added some bigger wooden logs to the fire now so it burns longer. I've got chicken, I've got fish. You can see I'm really filling up my inventory with food. And so once I've got it all filled up, I'll just eat and eat and eat and eat. And I won't stop eating until I see that my stomach is full. And then after a few minutes of it going away, I'll eat again. The fish fillets, one of them can basically fill your stomach every time. So you'll see here, I've just basically finished this one fish fillet. Bang, stomach's full. So I've got to wait 2-3 minutes before I can eat again. But you can also see from the fish that my hydration levels are going up. Not as fast as my hunger levels are improving, and now even white. And I've actually just come across what looks like a dead player. In a very odd position. Looking like if he'd been shot through an open door. I'm guessing he just wasn't well prepared enough. Possibly died of hunger or illness. But as you can see, my hunger is well under control. My hydration is still going up. I now have the luxury of being able to go around, take my time, build a better outfit, I guess, for me. Make sure I've got plenty of equipment slots, make sure I've got good quality clothing so I'm not going to freeze, and I can make sure I'm 100% ready to go before I head inland and start looking for better loot. So the farmhouses have a lot of good loot in them too sometimes. So I've got the fire pants on, I've got a fire jacket now. I use the duct tape to repair it to get it into a better condition. It's probably a bit bright than I would like, but really for early game, it's perfectly acceptable. And you don't look threatening. If another player sees you running around like this, they're not going to think you're heavily armed and that you're a threat to them. They're probably more going to likely leave you alone. But you're just dangerous enough that you can take them on if you need to. Again, more food. Where do you put food? In your stomach as soon as you can. So I haven't visited as well a water fountain, and you can see like my hydration levels are up now as well. I'm in a really good state. Temperature's good, food's good, water's good. I'm almost at the stage now where I can start heading inland. I guess part of the trick is as well being in a city that's large enough that there's enough to loot. You don't want to go to just a little village. You won't find enough good loot there. You do need to go to somewhere big like Electro or Cherno or Berezino or whatever the name of the town is that I'm in at the moment. A larger city. A small village on the coast, not good. Move to a larger city, you'll get more loot. You may have some interactions with other players. Some can be good, some can be bad, but that is all about of the game. So food levels completely full now. Hydration going up. Great, found that can of drink. There's a water fountain right here. I'm right next to the police station as well, so there's a chance I could get some good guns. I have heard a couple of shots from other players, and there was that dead player earlier, so there are other people around. But I'm in a pretty good state at the moment. So I fill myself up with as much water as I can until my stomach hurts. I just keep using my hands, and again, I'm using improvised hand wraps, so I'm not getting bloody hands in. You do have to keep an eye on them. You don't want your improvised hand wraps to get ruined. If they are ruined, they won't protect you. It can take quite a while to fill your stomach with water just by using your hands as well. I haven't found a water bottle yet. Drinking from water fountains can be a little scary too. You are quite exposed to a lot of them, and you can often get sniped by other players. So, as you can see, I've got some much better clothes now. I've got a nice leather jacket. I've got a better beanie. I've got a fair bit of loot in my equipment slots, loads of rags. I'm ready to start looking at going inland. First step though is I want to actually go into this police station and see if I can find some better weapons. I need something that I can actually defend myself with from a distance. It doesn't have to be a great distance, but a pistol or something like that would be great. I also noticed that this police officer just here had a stab vest on. It's not in the best condition. So I'll help myself to his stab vest. Thanks very much. Does need a bit of repair, but I can do that. But I'm now in a perfect state to head inland and look for maybe some medicine and some better weapons. Thanks for watching all the way to the end, guys. I hope you enjoyed that one. Bit different for me. And like I said, I know a lot of my viewers already know more than this than I do. But please, if you're enjoying the videos, consider subscribing and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys. Cheers.